For centuries, the island that would become Haiti stood at the center of one of the most powerful, profitable, and brutal colonial systems the world has ever known. Its history is not only the story of colonization, but also the story of resistance, revolution, and the global consequences of challenging empire. Long before European ships appeared on the horizon, the island was home to the Taino people, who lived through farming, fishing, and trade. Their society was organized, sustainable, and deeply connected to the land and sea. Life followed seasonal rhythms, guided by spiritual beliefs that honored nature and ancestry. This world would be violently disrupted at the end of the 15th century. In 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived on the island and claimed it for Spain. What followed was not discovery, but conquest. The Spanish imposed forced labor through systems that demanded gold extraction and agricultural work from the indigenous population. Violence, overwork, and European diseases devastated the Taino people. Within a few decades, their population collapsed. By the early 16th century, the indigenous society that had shaped the island for generations was nearly destroyed, marking one of the earliest and most complete genocides of the colonial era. As the indigenous population declined and Spanish interest shifted elsewhere, the western part of the island became contested ground. During the 17th century, French settlers, pirates, and traders established a foothold. Over time, France gained formal control of the territory, naming it Saint-Domingue. What began as a marginal colony soon transformed into the crown jewel of the French Empire. Fertile soil and favorable climate made Saint-Domingue ideal for large-scale plantation agriculture. Sugar, coffee, indigo, and cotton production expanded rapidly, driven by the transatlantic slave trade. To fuel this expansion, France imported hundreds of thousands of enslaved Africans. They came from many regions of West and Central Africa, bringing with them languages, religions, skills, and knowledge. By the late 18th century, Saint-Domingue had become the wealthiest colony in the world, producing enormous profits that flowed directly to France and helped finance European development. Yet this wealth rested entirely on human suffering. Enslaved people endured relentless labor, brutal punishment, starvation, and deliberate terror designed to maintain control. Life expectancy was so short that plantation owners calculated profits, assuming most enslaved workers would die within a few years. The population of Saint-Domingue reflected this imbalance. A small minority of white colonists controlled land and power. A group of free people of color, many of mixed ancestry, occupied an unstable middle position, often wealthy but denied full political rights. The vast majority of the population consisted of enslaved Africans. This system was maintained through violence, but it was never stable. Resistance was constant. Enslaved people sabotaged equipment, slowed production, preserved African cultural practices, and escaped plantations. In the mountains and forests, maroon communities formed, creating spaces of autonomy beyond colonial authority. The late 18th century brought global upheaval. Revolutionary ideas about liberty and equality spread from Europe to the Caribbean. In France, the Revolution of 1789 challenged monarchy and hierarchy. In Saint-Domingue, these ideas collided with the reality of slavery. Tensions between white colonists, free people of color, and enslaved populations intensified. In 1791, a massive uprising began among enslaved workers in the northern plains. Plantations burned, colonial control fractured, and what began as rebellion quickly became revolution. This uprising grew into the largest and most successful slave revolt in history. Out of the chaos emerged leaders who transformed resistance into organized warfare. Among them was Toussaint Louverture, a former enslaved man who demonstrated extraordinary military and political skill. Under his leadership, revolutionary forces fought against French, Spanish, and British armies, navigating shifting alliances in a global conflict shaped by European wars. The revolution in Saint-Domingue was no longer only about ending slavery. It became a struggle over sovereignty and power. In 1794, facing pressure from the revolutionaries and war in Europe, France abolished slavery in its colonies. For a brief moment, freedom seemed secured. Toussaint Louverture governed the colony, rebuilding the economy while attempting to maintain autonomy within the French Empire. But this fragile balance collapsed when Napoleon Bonaparte rose to power. Determined to restore French dominance and slavery, Napoleon sent a massive expedition to Saint-Domingue in 1802. The conflict that followed was devastating. French forces used extreme violence and attempted to reimpose slavery. Toussaint Louverture was captured through deception and deported to France, where he died in prison. Yet the revolution did not end. Formerly enslaved soldiers, many of whom had known nothing but warfare for years, continued the fight under new leadership. Disease, terrain, and determined resistance weakened the French army. By 1803, France's forces were defeated. In January 1, 1804, Haiti declared independence. It became the first black republic in the world and the first nation founded by formerly enslaved people. This victory shook the foundations of the Atlantic world. It proved that enslaved populations could overthrow empire and claim freedom through force. For colonial powers built on slavery, Haiti represented a dangerous example. The response was swift and unforgiving. Haiti was isolated diplomatically and economically. Major powers refused to recognize the new nation, fearing the spread of revolution. Trade restrictions strangled the economy. Then, in 1825, France returned with warships and demands. Haiti was forced to agree to an indemnity, paying an enormous sum to compensate former French slaveholders for lost property, including enslaved people. To pay this debt, Haiti borrowed heavily from foreign banks at high interest. This indemnity crippled Haiti's development. For more than a century, a significant portion of national revenue went towards servicing debt rather than building infrastructure, education, or public services. Wealth flowed out of the country, reinforcing dependency and poverty. Although Haiti was politically independent, economically it remained trapped in a colonial system. Throughout the 19th century, Haiti faced internal divisions, political instability, and constant external pressure. In the early 20th century, the United States emerged as a dominant power in the Caribbean. In 1915, U.S. forces occupied Haiti, citing instability and strategic interests. The occupation lasted nearly 20 years. During this period, Haiti's finances were controlled by foreign authorities, land was reorganized to favor external investors, and forced labor practices reappeared under new forms. Although the occupation ended in 1934, its effects lingered. Political structures remained fragile, and economic inequality deepened. In the decades that followed, Haiti experienced authoritarian rule, foreign intervention, and repeated crises. Each phase was shaped by the legacy of colonialism and the punishment imposed for independence. Yet Haiti's story is not only one of suffering. Its culture reflects extraordinary resilience. Language, religion, music, and art preserve the memory of African roots and revolutionary struggle. Haitian Vodou, literature, and oral traditions carry histories that were never written into colonial archives. Haiti's revolution inspired abolitionist movements and freedom struggles across the Americas and beyond, even as its contributions were minimized or erased from global narratives. Today, Haiti is portrayed solely through the lens of poverty and instability. This view ignores the historical forces that shaped its condition. Haiti did not fail to develop by chance. It was systematically extracted, isolated, and constrained by the very powers it once defeated.
The costs of independence were made intentionally unbearable, serving as a warning to others who might challenge colonial rule. The history of colonialism in Haiti reveals a deeper truth about empire, freedom, and power. Haiti achieved what was thought impossible, but it paid an extraordinary price. Its people transformed a system built on enslavement into a revolution that changed the world. To understand Haiti is to confront the lasting consequences of colonialism and the courage required to resist it. Haiti did not merely survive colonialism, it defeated it. And in doing so, it reshaped history in ways that still matter today.